This website says that new superannuation withdrawal rules take effect on June the 1st, how access to retirement funds is changing. This, I want to make that quite clear from the start. This information is false. So why is it false, and why that information being provided? Just to explain, sometime 2 days ago, my wife said she got a what's it called, a notification saying something about new superannuation rules. She went to this website and it had this information, so she started reading it. Right? I just want to emphasise again, all this information is false. So she started reading it. Right? First of all, you'll notice at the beginning of it, there's a photo of our Prime Minister, and it says new super withdrawal rules kick in. Are you ready? Right? And the first thing my wife said to me was, I don't remember being told anything about this during the election. So anyway, let's read what it has to say. And I have to emphasise again, all this information is false. It says new superannuation withdrawal rules. Starting June the 1st, 2025, Australia's superannuation system will see a significant transformation with the introduction of new withdrawal rules. These changes aimed at enhancing retirement security and streamlining fund accessibility affect millions of Australians planning to tap into their retirement savings. Understanding how these rules have changed and what it means for your financial planning is now more important than ever. And it talks about a table of contents, right? And it's got these 9 dot points, right? I'm not going to go through and read all the 9 dot points, other than to say all the information is false. Question: why is it false? Well, and how do I know it's false? Well, the first clue to me was that it said these are taking effect on June the 1st. In Australia, we don't make changes that take effect in superannuation within 1 or 2 months. And the other thing, even if they are done in months, they're usually done on the 1st of July, not the 1st of June. So that was a bit of a trigger to me. So what I did is I decided to go and do a Google search and find out more about this information. So this is the result of the Google search I found, if I can find it. Okay. There we are. No, that's not it. That's another link. I'll just go to where it is. Okay. No, that's not it. Oh, go back to that. Oh, sorry about this. Okay. Anyway, there was there it is, that one there. All right. So I just get a Google search on new superannuation withdrawal rules, right? And this is what it came up with. All right. It says via Google artificial intelligence says it's a masterclass of misinformation and it's getting traction. So let's clear this right now. There are no new superannuation withdrawal rules coming into effect on June the 1st. Not for lump sums, not for preservation age, not for pension phase. And this was published 2 weeks ago. The link there also has go back again, has a link to that original website. But further down has a link to another website, which also is false. I'll come back to that later on. And also an age article. The one I've got is actually an article by the Sydney Morning Herald. All right. So the Age and the Sydney Morning Herald are reliable sources as opposed to web pages. All right. So let's go and have a look at the Sydney Morning Herald one, right, which I think is there. Yeah. This is an article done by Beck Wilson. Now, if you go to the bottom of this and look for Beck Wilson, right, where is it? Oh, it usually tells you at the bottom. Beck Wilson is the author of How to Have an Epic Retirement and writes a weekly newsletter for pre and post retirees at epiretirement.net. All right. So she has some sort of credibility. So in this it says, she says, I was on a superannuation fund live stream this week doing a Q&A when a woman asked me what I thought about the major new super rules coming in on June the 1st. I did a double take. She continued, what do I think of the new phase withdrawal limits that would be imposed on people in the pension phase, and the limits to some lump sums that could be withdrawn? Okay. So her quote is, there is no new super rules coming in on June the 1st unless Albo brings Parliament back early with $3 million rule. Don't know what that is. I said pretty confidently I hadn't missed anything. The fund's financial advisor also agreed with me, and I didn't give it a second thought until the next day. And on the next day, basically somebody else wrote to her about that, and she took a whole lot of screenshots. And if you look, that information there is very similar to that web page. All right. She goes on to explain how there's nothing changing. The only thing that's going to be changed on the first of June is the weather. All right. There's nothing changing as far as superannuation is concerned. And she was also saying that it's very, very confusing. And what she obviously didn't, she actually called it a scam. I don't actually think it's a scam. Scam, usually there's a way of trying to get money out of you. I don't think these websites are directly trying to get money out of people that are in superannuation, not to my knowledge anyway. So let's go back to the website and have a look at what the website says and how, well, first of all, we know it's false information. Why are they providing the false information? Okay, so I'll just go back to there. All right. When you scroll through this website and you scroll up, you'll notice there's an ad there, right? Okay, there's an elbow there, and there's more information. It's got a table of contents. There's an ad there, right? The table of contents goes to those 9 points that I mentioned before, and then it goes through further and further and further. Another ad, same ad that was at the top there before, all right? They even are quite sophisticated, this mob, in preparing this website. They've even got a table and saying when criteria changes, etc., etc., etc. Another ad, by the way, it's the same ad. And then they've got another table saying when things are changing. Looks all very, very official, but it's not. Okay. Once again, another link to Centrelink information, etc. A whole lot of Q&As, and also they've even got Services Australia. Now, when I first saw this, Services Australia is the organisation that controls a lot of the government stuff. It's got a telephone number there. I haven't actually checked that number, but looking at that, HCCBS, I don't know if I can click on that link. In fact, I will now, just to show you what happens. All right, to Services Australia. Actually goes to Services Australia, and it looks like a login. I can't tell if this is a false login. Actually, it's got Service Australia up the top there. So that looks legitimate. So even the MyGov login looks legitimate. Department of Social Security looks legitimate, right? So these seem to be Department of Social Security. They seem to be legitimate links, which means that if you go there, you think, oh, the information's all legitimate because it's going to legitimate websites. But the information is not legitimate. We've already concluded that it's not legitimate. So again, I ask, why is this website providing this false information? The reason is, in my opinion, is a thing called clickbait. Clickbait is a thing where they provide you some information, a little bit of information. It's of interest to you. You go to that website. On that website, then they have advertisements, right? And they get a lot of what we call traffic to that website, so that when they get a lot of traffic to that website, they can charge a fee for it. And it's not only this website. I've found when I did a search later on, it's even more websites and even other websites which are not this particular one. And just to give an example of how it doesn't sort of fit into place, right, let's go I've got a quick jump to the bottom of the website. Right, tells you a little about this website. Okay, they say they're an independent organisation, etc., etc. Somewhere down the bottom here it says, which I find it amusing. Yes, it says, prabhonda.com, we offer a diverse range of content, ensuring that our readers stay updated with the latest offerings, service and updates related to Honda, two-wheelers and four-wheelers. Our website features information on new launches, service updates, dealership events and customer service support services. So this superannuation thing has got nothing to do with Honda cars or anything like Honda cars or motorbikes. So that's a bit of a giveaway as well. Why? Well, it's not a financial. They're actually saying we're not a financial advice organisation. We're something to do with motor cars and bikes and motor cars and motorbikes. So that's just another proof that they're wrong. Proof that it's not exactly a scam, but all it is a clickbait situation. I did a bit of another study and had a look further into that same sort of query changes of the 1st of July, and I found another website, Veronica, this one here, that also, this one's called fcmusa.org/new super rules. And once again, it talks about the new superannuation rule. Once again, has a photo of Anthony Albanese, right? And it has the same sort of information, right? Exactly the same, right? And also it has ads in it, different ads, but it has ads in it. Once again, another clickbait site. So what can be done about this? Well, the answer is nothing. And the reason you can't do anything about it is there's no laws that I'm aware of that say you can't provide false information on websites. If they were, a lot of websites, all political websites, that have to be banned. All right. So there's nothing can be done about it because they're not actually breaking the law. This is what is been told to me as a term called sharp practices. They're not breaking the law. They're not actually breaking any laws. They're because you don't have to tell the truth on a website, all right? And if you did, as I said, you wouldn't be able to enforce it. So it's what's simply called a sharp practice. Sharp practice simply means that it's not illegal, but it's very, very close to being illegal, right? And it's probably immoral, and that's what these sites are. One person we can thank for all this happening is a guy named Donald Trump, right? He goes along and says whatever he wants to say, and if someone objects to him, he says, "Oh, that's just false news." So, by the way, these websites also, not only do they give you false information, they also tell you how good they are at researching the information, do fact checking, stuff like that, which itself is false. So very hard to know what information is false and truth, especially when the supposing leader of the free world makes false information, provides false information all the time. Okay, got any questions about this? Email me. You can put items in the comments. Other than that, see you later.